Yo, it's your Royal Prince Akini here, and today I'm going to explain why that Moro is quite literally beyond galaxy level, because it is the Big 25 and this is still going around. People mainly use this one statement from Whis, that's in the English version of the Dragon Ball Super manga, that says that Moro is going to self-destruct and destroy the whole galaxy, but there's like many reasons why that this doesn't work. The first reason being is that self-destruction itself doesn't exactly scale to one's AP or destructive capacity. This was obviously never the case once in Dragon Ball. I mean, there's quite literally Raditz who eclipses Master Roshi in power, and yet a Cyberman who is stated to be equal to Raditz only causes a crater from self-destructing? And trust me, this is not the only case. Semi-Perfect Cell was stated to blow up the entire Earth. Does that mean that he caps at planetary? Hell no. Literally, at a low ball, Saiyan Saga alone is just like dwarf star levels in the power, and that's an extreme low ball. And those two are still not the only examples I have. Majin Vegeta quite literally was stated by the Daizenshuu to explode with all of his power. That means whatever he did in that final explosion was all of his power. And you know his biggest feat from that? Creating a big fucking crater. And mind you, base Vegeta at this point, and I'll explain in a different video, but whether you think that Cell is universal or whether you think that he caps at like solar system tier is like completely irrelevant, because that would just mean that Majin Vegeta is way weaker than that by your own logic. And before I hear someone say that he was uncontrollably about to self-destruct, you do realize that a more controlled self-destruction would be more powerful than an unstable one, right? Like, let's look at Gas. When he controlled his own power, he got a hell of a ton stronger, like exponentially. So if you're really going to use that argument, you better consider the fact that Moro will quite literally just upscale from like self-destruction that much anyways. The second thing is that mainly because that the whole statement in the English version of the Dragon Ball Super manga is apparently a mistranslation. Herms outright confirmed that when Krillin was talking about their galaxy, it was meant to actually say these galaxies. Not only that, but according to another language of the Dragon Ball Super manga, Whis actually said universe, not galaxy. And this is actually outright supported by how Grand Kaioshin outright confirms that the universe was saved when Moro was defeated. And not to mention, actually look at the context for once, because Yamcha outright suggests trying to use the Super Dragon Balls, and yes, they are Super Dragon Balls. I swear to God, I don't remember any other Dragon Balls that are quite literally like, gigantic and flow around in space, directly stated by Yamcha, by the way. The Namekian Dragon Balls were never gigantic, they were just called bigger than the normal Earth Dragon Balls. And even if for some reason they were called gigantic compared to the Earth Dragon Balls, they don't randomly flow around in space directly like what Yamcha said. So the context here is just more so pointing towards the Super Dragon Balls more than it is Namex. And this is all ignoring the literal fact that back in Battle of Gods alone, Goku and Beerus was destroying the entire macrocosm. And mind you, they only did this in one hit during the manga version. Like, the universe was set to jeopardy in just one hit. Like not only are the macrocosmic shockwaves actually more visible than they are in the anime, which means it's more powerful shockwaves anyways, it also instantly reached the Kaioshin realm, which is outside the macrocosm. And that's not the only above universal feat that we've seen Goku do in the Dragon Ball Super manga, by the way. He also locks in a timeline with no space or time. And it was directly confirmed when the time ring itself disappeared, meaning that that timeline quite literally did no longer exist, and yet Goku can interact with it. How does Moro cap at galaxy level again? I don't exactly get that at all. In other words, quit downplaying the GOAT, please. The downplay is just very unnecessary. My point of the video wasn't to prove that Moro is outerversal or universal. My point was just to prove that he was way far above, like, at least galaxy level. Like, what the Moro downplayers say. This is your Royal Prince Akini, and I'll see you later.